Hello, everybody. I'm just going to say that I saw The Dark Knight Rises. I'm going to review it, and there might be spoilers. So, now that I've told you that, let's dive into The Dark Knight Rises. The Dark Knight Rises takes place 8 years after the events of The Dark Knight. We find Gotham in peace and organized crime is gone using the Dent Act. Batman has vanished after he got blamed for the death of Harvey Dent, but now a new villain rises and terrorizes Gotham, and Bruce must suit up one last time to stop him from destroying Gotham. The Dark Knight came out in 2008 and is now considered as one of the greatest comic book movies of all time. And after 4 years, we have finally got the final installment of Christopher Nolan's clever, emotional, and thrilling crime drama of this generation of film. The Dark Knight Rises is a perfect blend of action, drama, suspense, disaster films, darkness, and thrills that will make you want to see this movie again and again. Christian Bale gives his best performance as Bruce Wayne in the whole trilogy. You have followed this character since he was a child, till he became the Caped Crusader. But now his life is in a gutter, and you can really see that after 8 years, he's still traumatized of what the Joker did. And he feels that he has no purpose to live anymore. He haven't stepped out of his manor in 8 years and have locked himself up to never see Gotham again. But when Bane arrives, he have no other choice than to put on the cape again. But this threat is more than meets the eye, and soon he finds out that facing Bane can most likely break him. Tom Hardy does an incredible job as the new villain in town, Bane. He is so menacing and threatening, and he has henchmen who would actually sacrifice their lives for him. Tom Hardy covers most of his face with a mask, but you still see his eyes, and the expression of his eyes is absolutely frightening, and he does a great job with it. Unlike the Joker, who wanted to watch the world burn and bring good people down to his level of ugliness, Bane gives people hope until the last minute where he breaks them down completely, if it physically or mentally. This gives Batman his most threatening villain yet and makes the audience feel that there's no way out. But Anne Hathaway is the one who steals the show. She is wonderful as the sexy and clever Catwoman. At first I didn't believe that she could pull it off, but in the first scene she was in I was like, wow. She's most of the time a selfish woman, but when Gotham goes to hell, she starts to understand that she doesn't like it and changes, which I thought was pretty cool. They never actually call her Catwoman in the movie, but it doesn't matter. She's still Selena Kyle, and I think Anne Hathaway is the best Catwoman yet. Gary Oldman is once again terrific as Commissioner Gordon. He's more sympathetic here, carrying on a lie about Harvey Dent, and is totally frightened that people might find out about it. Michael Caine and Morgan Freeman do their job as always, but Michael Caine doesn't have much screen time, which is a little bit disappointing. But still, he is the good butler, and in this he's much more of a father to Bruce than any of the movies he's been in. We have a new character, John Blake, played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He's one of the very few good cops in the town and believes that Batman is the symbol of hope and can save Gotham. This movie for me had everything, but it still had some flaws. I didn't like the first 30 minutes of the movie. I think that some scenes went way too fast. When they introduced new characters, they just came and went like lightning. And some important scenes with Bruce and Alfred felt like they were in a hurry on the set, and I didn't really get to feel the impact that it should have. It just felt like the editors tried to cut it to be exactly 2 hours and 45 minutes. There's also this one character called Miranda Tate, who I felt was kind of pointless in the beginning, but in the end, it was pretty cool to see where they went with her. Also, I liked Bane's voice, but that so-called fix was way overdone. It felt like he was dubbed, especially in the beginning in the plane. You hear the CIA agent good, but when Bane talks, it sounds way too clear than it should be. It's like everything mutes in the background when he talks, but I only felt this a couple of times. Also, there is one scene where Bruce escapes from a pit, and suddenly he's back in Gotham again, so I think they should have explained that a little bit more. Now, let's get to the good stuff. I've already talked about the performances, and they are all great. The story in this one is much more cooler than the others in my opinion. Because in Batman Begins we had the origin story, which is cool, but it doesn't make it my favorite. Dark Knight we finally had the established characters. Now it's more about the villain and Gotham City, where Gotham tries to crawl itself from crime and their own damnation, and the Joker arrives and turns everything upside down and starts chaos. But this one is more about Bruce's journey, where Gotham is finally safe and Bruce is the one who has to crawl himself from falling. This makes the story more interesting and gives the hero more sympathy than ever. And when you think that it can't get any worse for Bruce, he falls to the lowest point possible, but manages to rise again and fulfill his destiny. This really is Batman's chapter, and he can finally prove that he is a hero. The music by Hans Zimmer is incredible. The chant music gives me chills and pumped up. Catwoman's theme is very good and actually sounds like a cat thief lurking around. And the epic music moments are really epic. Bane is one of the best villains ever. He is so menacing and brutal and doesn't give a shit who he has to kill. He does what he feels is necessary. He's a threatening brute who you don't want to mess with. And there is one particular scene would justify that. There's this business guy who works for Wayne Enterprises and he's arguing with Bane and tells him that he is in charge. Then Bane just lays his hand on his shoulder and asks, "Do you feel that you're in charge?" That scene made the Joker look like a wussy. I also thought Bane was the perfect choice for the finale, because he's the only one in the comics who have actually broken the bat. And that just says it all. There's much more to say about this movie, but then I'll be here forever. But a lot of you are probably wondering about which Batman movie I thought was the best. My favorite was and still is The Dark Knight, but it doesn't mean The Dark Knight Rises was bad. No, to tell you the truth, I loved Rises, and I came into the theater aware that it couldn't top The Dark Knight, which I think made the experience much more wonderful. Ever since Batman Begins, this journey has been a blast, and I want to thank Christopher Nolan and the cast for bringing such a wonderful conclusion to my favorite hero. And I really hope that I can tell this to my children and my grandchildren sometime in the future, that this is the essential Batman trilogy and one of the greatest trilogies in film history. I give The Dark Knight Rises a 4 out of 5. So, if you like this review, then please subscribe and invite me as a friend, and I hope I'll see you again soon.